In a recent video, I went through the process of installing and setting up SonarQube on a Windows system. In a follow-up to that video, I will go through the process of integrating SonarQube with Bitbucket Cloud. This enables a .NET project hosted in a Bitbucket repository to have its code analyzed by SonarQube and a health report to be generated. To get the most out of the video, you'll need as a prerequisite a Bitbucket account and a .NET project repository hosted in Bitbucket Cloud. So the first thing I'm going to do after logging in to SonarQube, I'm going to click the Import from Bitbucket Cloud Setup button. So make sure Bitbucket Cloud is selected. So at this point, if you haven't done so already, you'll need to create what is called an auth consumer in Bitbucket. This will enable permissions so that SonarQube and Bitbucket can interact with each other. So I'm going to actually log in now to Bitbucket. So you can see I've got 3 repositories. Each one is a .NET solution. So after logging into Bitbucket, I'm going to click on the settings icon and then workspace settings. Then left hand side, scroll down to apps and features and click auth consumers. So I've already created one previously, which gives a key and a secret. So I can click on edit and just show you what configuration settings I had to put in there. So name, a callback ID, these fields can be blank, and then what permissions you want to give. So I've just basically clicked everything. So the one I previously created, I'm going to copy the key and go back to SonarQube. I'm going to paste that in there. Then the secret. Then I'm going to give a name to this. And the workspace ID is the same ID as your Bitbucket workspace, so in this case, IndieRevo 1. So once all the fields are completed, click Save Configuration. So when the configuration is saved, return to the SonarQube landing page and click the Import from Bitbucket Cloud button again. So at this point, you prompted for the Bitbucket app username and password. This is a different set of credentials to the Atlassian username and password that you use to log in. If you don't have the app username and password, then you can click this link, which will show you how to create the password. So the username in my case is here. So I'll copy that, paste that into there, and click App Passwords. I have created one previously, but I'll just create another one. Give it full access. Click Create. Copy that, paste it into there, then click Save. So what we have now in SonarQube is a direct connection to Bitbucket Cloud. So you can see if I click on repositories, it reflects in SonarQube the 3 repositories that I have in Bitbucket. So now I'm going to import one of these repositories into SonarQube. I'm going to choose image analysis. Choose the baseline for new code for this, so I'm just going to go for the global setting. Analysis method, I'm going to use Bitbucket Pipelines. So at this point you're prompted to create a couple of repository variables. These will be the Sonar token and Sonar host URL. So go back into Bitbucket and click on the repository that you're working with. Click on repository settings and scroll down to repository variables. At this point you might be prompted to enable pipelines on the repository, so click settings and enable pipelines. So once that's done, return to the repository variables page. So I want to be clicking add, put in the, copy that first, Sonar token, and then in the value field generate a token, generate, copy that, put that into this value field here, click add. Second one is Sonar host URL. Now the value here, you need to be careful about this one because the value that it suggests entering, we want to uncheck secured as well. So the value that it suggests entering is localhost, but that won't work because SonarQube server needs to be public facing, because otherwise Bitbucket will be looking for SonarQube at localhost, and because Bitbucket is in the cloud, then this won't work and the pipeline build will fail every time. So at this point you need to put in the IP address or URL of the server that is running SonarQube. So in this case that's my IP address. And let's just see if this actually works. If I copy that and open a new tab, okay, so at that IP address and port 9000 I can see the login page for SonarQube. So that means that this host URL value is correct, so I can add that. So I'm going to go back into SonarQube now. So now that the repository variables are created, step 2, create your pipelines builds configuration. So what option best describes your project? It's .NET. So at this point I want to be going into the repository and creating a Bitbucket -pipelines YAML file. Don't copy and paste because I found that that can cause an error. So what I will do is go into the repository and add a file. And just make sure it's called Bitbucket Pipelines .yml. You can see it detects the syntax mode as YAML. But here you can copy the body of the YAML file and paste that in. And click commit. So the YAML file is now part of the repository, and because we've committed, then the pipeline automatically runs. I'm not quite sure what happened with this one, but that's the most recent one in progress. So we can click on that and see what's happening. And we're waiting for this pipeline to finish before returning to SonarQube, and when it does finish we should be able to see the results up here. So the build actually failed, and I can see the error message relating to their current .NET SDK not supporting .NET 8. That probably explains why the previous attempted pipeline run failed before that. So to fix this, what I'm going to do is go into the source. I'm going to open up the csproj file. I'm going to edit it. I'm going to just change that to .NET 7. I'll commit that. Now if we go back to pipelines, we see that because we've committed that change, the pipeline is automatically running. So if we look, so this time the build has succeeded. Marked in green. Sonar Scanner CLI has finished. So now if we go back to the SonarQube dashboard, so you can see it looks very different now because it's now got the results of the analysis of the code of the found in the repository. So the report is 0 issues for security, 2 for reliability, 27 for maintainability. So now I can actually start to go into these and see what changes are required. So I'm going to click on the Issues button here at the top, and this gives a list of all the issues that SonarQube has found in the analysis of the project. So issues such as make the field private, so if you click on that, it actually shows you the code, points to the issue that has been found, and gives an explanation of what the issue is. Why is this an issue, and how can I fix it? It's a non-compliant code example and the compliant solution. So some of these they'll be quite simple to fix, such as remove commented out code. Why is this an issue? Commented out code distracts the focus from the actual executed code, creates a noise that increases maintenance. So yeah, some of these are quite simple to fix. So if, for example, I wanted to assign this, if I had a list of users, so at the moment there's only the administrator, so I click on admin, that means the administrator is now looking into this. So I'm not going to actually fix any of these issues in this video. I'll leave that to a later video. I'll actually go into the code itself, make the change, rerun the pipeline, and then see if these issues are then removed. also go into a few more of the features of SonarQube. So thanks for watching the video. I'll put any extra information in the video description, and thanks